video games. What is up, YouTube? It is me, Unrooolie, aka Kenny, and I just got back from watching Ghostbusters Afterlife, the new Ghostbusters film. And well, I mean, I'll start off saying that, you know, if you don't want to watch the whole thing, but actually, this will be a spoiler-free review. But at the end, I'll let you know, I'm like, hey, I want to talk about something, and that'll be a spoiler. But that's going to be at the very end of the video. I'll give you like tons of warning because I really don't feel like making two videos for this because I think the movie was great. I think it's good. I don't think it warrants a big spoiler. Well, maybe I'll do a little spoiler discussion. I'll cover it in two pieces. Maybe we'll talk about this with your video games because I did see the movie with Simmons. So with that said, you already heard I said the movie was great. But I'll go into little spoilers as possible. But, you know, as we all know, that this is Ghostbusters Afterlife, and we know that is a basically kind of like a sequel to the old Ghostbusters movie. And like, what can I say about it, right? A lot of people were saying, oh my God, there was too much nostalgia and there was too much. And to me, honestly, I didn't get that from the film. I mean, of course, there's like, you know, scenes and stuff like that, and I think there is some nostalgia, but it plays it well because I mean that's the kind of plot of the film. You know, you haven't seen these characters in, you know, almost 40 years, right? In the 80s, and you can see they talked about that in the trailer. So I mean, there is kind of like a nostalgia for that, you know, where there are people like, oh man, I remember those guys, you know, those guys did that thing, but it was been along the 80s. And you know, to first start off, I'm a Ghostbusters fan. I'm not a huge Ghostbusters fan. I saw it when I was a kid. I thought the movie was cool. I enjoyed it. You know, all kids loved the movie because it was ghosts and the effects were cool. I'm not a crazy diehard Ghostbusters fan. I'm not like I thought it was great. I think I like other films better, like Back to the Future. I did say I'm more of a diehard Back to the Future fan than I am a Ghostbusters fan, but I did like the Ghostbusters. I thought they were great. I liked you know, I haven't watched the movies that many times, as many as some other people, you know, here and now and then. I remember liking Ghostbusters 2 as a kid because the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and it had a Nintendo controller in it. It had the Nintendo joystick, and I saw that. I was like, oh, that's so cool. I love it. You know, just those two things made me love the movie. But I'm not like a crazy diehard. As some people are, with like this movie shaped me and stuff like that. I saw it as a kid. I was like, hey, this movie's cool and it's neat and I like this, and you know, and so forth. But I'm not a diehard fan. But like what I could say about the nostalgia portions of it, I think it was, you know, well done. It wasn't like what I could tell about this movie. It was made with love and care to the franchise, right? It wasn't. It just didn't seem like a cash grab film. It didn't seem like, yeah, we need to cash in on the Ghostbusters name for some reason or other. It just, you know, because like it could have been like, you know, I don't know. I think it was kind of well done of this story that these guys haven't been around. These guys haven't really been seen. That stuff was like a long time ago, and now the world's gone back to kind of normal. And I think it was done well. The film, I loved it. I love the two main characters. I believe it was Phoebe's the name of the actress. She played, you know, she played it was the main girl. I like the kid Podcast. He was actually really cool. And I think it was really well done. I think those two were amazing. I think they worked well off of each other. They worked well off like the you know, the two strange kids, and I think it was incredibly well done. The brother was okay, and the love interest was okay. You know, and Ghostbusters was this film about these, you know, four characters coming together, and that's one thing I will say. It's like it wasn't so much of the four, right? It was much of more of the two, and then much more of what's his face, Ant-Man, you know, in there, and like the other two, the her brother and the love interest, just kind of like, hey, they're in there, right? There wasn't like, but like I said, it's its own movie, right? You know, these characters are going to come together in a different way. But I think that's like a lot of the old Ghostbusters, whereas like these characters, these four coming in and interacting and building character and stuff like that. The other two just felt like, okay, here, let's go, you know, do the thing. And while, you know, you had whatchamacallit, the main two protagonists, they really felt like they were doing all this stuff, and then the other guy's like, okay, well, come along, right? But and like, and if another thing, if I had to like nitpick, like if I'm sitting there with a nitpicky brain, I could be like, well, this seemed a little too convenient. This seemed a little too convenient, right? And things like that. If you're that kind of moviegoer, they will probably eat at your brain, and you'll feel like yeah, how are these kids so good at this and how it's something like that. And sometimes I did think about it, but then I'm like, you know what? Okay, I should just, I always think of Mystery Science Theater. It's just a movie, and I should really just relax. Unless it's like, it's not like outlandish stuff like Fast and the Furious, where they's like, hey, I'm just gonna jump off this bridge and I'm gonna hook my tire onto the line of the bridge, and my car's gonna swing and we're gonna land. It's not stuff like that, but it's stuff like, really, would they have done that? But like and then at the end of the day, I'm just like, it is what it is. The first third of the movie was great. I do believe that the movie, I think, ended a little abruptly. I think the final act could have been a bit longer. It seemed like it just. I think that's like a criticism I would have. Like I said, I love the movie. I thought it was fantastic. I thought it was a really well done movie to the Ghostbusters universe, and especially if you like I said, if you're a fan of the original two, I think this movie does really well, bringing that world and connecting it to this new generation and stuff like that. But like I said, I think the third act kind of went a little fast. And that's my humble opinion. I would have liked to seen a little bit more of the characters. It's almost like the Joker, right? Like the Joker is all about him becoming the Joker. I wouldn't say it's as short as the Joker, because the Joker is like, the last 15 minutes, spoiler alert, he's the Joker, or he's like, he really falls into the character, maybe like 5 minutes of him. But like I do think the third act was a little rushed. I had like little criticisms where things were just going on a little too well, right? A little too just like, oh, bing, boom, oh, this is where, but I think the nostalgia thing, I don't think it was overdone. I don't think it was like ham-fisted or like, like member berry. And like some people like, golly, like, they really gripe on that. I don't really necessarily gripe on the member berry stuff. If it's kind of well done and so forth, I don't really have too much of a problem with it. And I think it was the case for this, right? There was a couple of jokes that, harken back to some of the old stuff. And I was like, ha, but like, it doesn't pull you out like, like if it's like a blatant cash grab, movie trying to capitalize on I'm not trying to talk about any other movie. But like, there's other movies that kind of do that where it's like, ha, and like, I don't know, like, right. Transformers. I like some nostalgia stuff. I liked it when they made the original sound. They did it once and they never did it again. I thought, hey, you know what? Throw the original sound in there every once in a while. I think that would be cool. They transform, mix it in there, put it a little bit, and you hear a little bit. But hey, I'm talking about another movie now. But I think the movie was great. The actress, the young actress, she was phenomenal. Very likable. The mom, she was good. And I will say this, like, the movie is like, without spoiling, it's got feels. It's got feels. And I think I went to the theater and I was just like, wow. I definitely got hit in the feels with that movie, and I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't really expecting to be hit that hard. And but other than that, like I said, I think the movie's great. There might be some things where if you nitpick things where like, oh yeah, I think that might get in your head, and you might like, but then like when I was thinking of that, when I was looking at that, I was like, you know what, it's a movie. Yeah, because I forgot. Yeah, I think sometimes like you gotta alleviate, right? You can turn off your brain that part up to so much, right? And that's I think to that where I was doing that, it wasn't that much. I can be like, yeah, okay, I can forgive it, right? But when I talk about that movie, when I talk about like Fast and Furious, I'm like, okay, bro, come on, You know what? Yeah. But anyways, like I said, I think it's worth a watch if you like the original movies. It's great to continue that universe, and I think it continues that universe very, very well. I think the movie could have been a little bit longer, just towards the end to make it really good, and maybe, yeah, maybe a little bit longer of them learning to do what they do, right? Because everything seemed like, ooh, bing, boom, and just working. But other than that, it's good. I liked it. I'm glad I watched it. It was great in the theater, hearing the sounds and stuff like that. And I don't think it was this nostalgia thing that like a lot of critics are saying, like, oh, it's too much nostalgia. I mean, it's a movie about the Ghostbusters, and it's in the original Ghostbusters universe, and I think that was great. But overall, it's worth a watch. It's great. I give it like a 7.5, 7.7 out of 10. It's a good watch. I think you could have made it like you could have knocked it out of the park by making the film a tad bit longer towards the end. But that was my spoiler-free review. I tried to keep it short and sweet. I think it was well crafted. It's from the director son of the original Ghostbusters or Ghostbusters 2, and I think like he's like, what, my dad did this movie and I want to do it justice. And like I said, I think the characters were really likable. I like sometimes maybe like it shot up a little bit, but like it was actually cool. I like maybe with some characters, but other than that, like it's just a great film, and I didn't expect to get hit by the feels. And that's going to be it for the spoiler-free review. So if you guys want to go in clean and don't know anything, then hey, you can click the end of the video. If you guys like the video, that'd be great. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you guys are going to stay, we'll talk about spoilers, and it's not like the whole film. I'm just going to talk mainly about the end of the film, because hopefully if you've seen it and you're watching this now, I'll talk about it. All right, so here we go. And I definitely want to talk about the end of the film, because I do believe that third act was kind of rushed, right? Things started happening, they all come together, and then like, I mean, like, I don't know, it felt like things just started happening too well, right? They're like, hey, wait, this is a trap. And, the house was actually a trap. And like, it seemed like it just kind of like, they could have used more time to like see what her grandfather was doing, and a way to like, hey, you know what? This is what we should do. Maybe them learning like more about the Ghostbusters, and like, maybe, we're talking about spoilers, maybe Spengler could have like helped plan or something like that, because there was interaction. And god dang it, I didn't say this in the spoiler free. I think the way they just handled that, I mean, because I want to talk about it, well, because then it would whatever. But I think the way they handled it was so well done. It was such a beautiful, I think, way to handle the situation, about the actor's untimely death, and I think it was done with love, done with care, and they did it. And at that point I was like, oh man, that's just felt it felt, it made the character even more likable. And man, like, damn man, I missed the actor, I missed the character. And I think what they did was, it was so well done. It wasn't like, he wasn't coming out there and doing all kind of wacky shit. I think it was just, I was holding back a few tears towards the end. But I think it was incredibly well done. And like, it was handled well. And because in the beginning it was kind of tough, like, man, he just left, and and I don't know, man, I think it was great to see, to get this franchise, up going again, and to see, like, dude, Spengler was the GOAT. He knew all this stuff was going on, and he had to do what he had to do. And and then you get the Homer Simpson moment towards the end, and you could see that he's guiding them along and so forth like that. And when he comes out, I was just like, wow, Well, like I legit, it's like, holding back a few tears to be honest in the theater, and I think it was well done, and and I think they probably definitely had to consult with the estate and everything like that, but wow, man, it just really felt like it made you feel a lot of things. It made you feel like, man, you should really, um, like like I don't know, because it made me feel like yeah, I know it was a movie, but then it just made you feel like, man, like like I don't know how to explain it. Right? It's late. It's kind of tight. Like it's like 4 o'clock in the morning here, but like like and the whole point of I think with a ghost, right? It's like you get one chance to tell your loved ones how you feel and all that kind of stuff, and your friends and stuff like that. And I think what it did, seeing all those characters together, is like, damn, like, and hearing them talk, and it felt like they were talking to him directly, and it's like, I should have called more, I should have done that. And right, and you don't necessarily get that chance in life. And yeah, and I think that's what just gave me the feels, right, of seeing all the actors come back and seeing him one more time. And it was well done, and it was a good film. Like, I think it could have just been a little longer, maybe on the planning of how they're going to take out this you know uh the main bad guy, and so forth like that. But other than that, I think it was cool. I liked how it connected some of the the old films, and how this town and why they were connected and so forth like that. And it was pretty cool. But I gotta say, I really enjoyed it. I think the um handling of having Spengler come back was really well done, and it felt respectful to the actor. And and I think it just also made me kind of sad that, like, man, he couldn't have came back one more time with the crew, but then he kind of did. And it almost felt like that he was really there. But all right, guys, that's been my review. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.